The manager exuding husband vibes is keeping a mistress at the company. The legal wife storms into the office to catch the other woman, staging a year-end drama, until the manager's wife pulled me out from the crowd of onlookers. Only when the slap landed on my face did I snap out of it. Is the manager's mistress me? A crisp slap echoed, and half of my face felt like it had been skinned. Shunyan, you home-wrecking mistress. The one who hit me was Li Dahua, the wife of manager Zhong Yao. That slap left my mind in complete chaos. When I first joined the company, Zhong Yao did invite me out to dinner privately a few times, but I declined every time. Seeing that I wasn't playing along, Zhong Yao couldn't be bothered to put in any more effort with me, and from then on, our interactions were strictly limited to work-related matters during office hours. How on earth did I end up being labeled as the other woman? You can't just make wild accusations. Ms. Li. What evidence do you have that I'm trying to break up your family? I had to calm down first and figure out what was going on. What evidence? Li Dahua sneered coldly. How dare you even ask? Let me tell you, it's only because my Zhong Yao is the most honest man in the world. He shows me every single one of your flirtatious messages. Zhong Yao originally thought you were just a young girl struggling to make a living away from home, but you pushed your luck when you couldn't have my husband. You tried to ruin him by making false accusations. Shunyan, I've never met a woman as shameless as you. A few days ago, there was a contract issue with the project our team was responsible for handling. The headquarters sent someone down to question us, and I just reported the facts truthfully. How did that turn into me being accused of backstabbing? Don't try to pin this kind of dirty blame on me. Zhong Yao's contract did have issues. When the company questioned me, I just told the truth. How is that backstabbing? And you keep saying I ruined your family. What evidence do you even have? Being dragged out early in the morning, slapped, and falsely accused had already pushed my anger to the boiling point. Li Dahua wanted to keep yelling, but Zhong Yao stopped her first. Before saying anything, he sighed. Shunyan, I can understand how hard it is for a young woman to make her way in the city, but there are no shortcuts in the workplace, at least not through me. I originally didn't want to make this matter public knowledge, nor did I want to ruin your reputation just because you made a youthful ideological mistake, but you took personal revenge by arbitrarily altering the contract terms and deliberately slandered me in front of the leadership. Do you realize that with the year-end approaching, your actions could affect the entire team's annual bonuses? The mention of annual bonuses immediately turned my previously indifferent colleagues into a crowd shooting disapproving glances at me. With just one sentence, I found myself standing against all my colleagues. I've compiled screenshots of your harassing messages to me and reported them to the leadership. Zhong Yao maintained that same forced helpless expression, oozing with paternalistic condescension. Shunyan. Perhaps this lesson will help you see more clearly which path you should take in the future. Amidst the constant chime of incoming emails, colleagues one after another pulled out their phones. Oh my god, what kind of nonsense is this? Who would have thought? Shunyan puts on such a cold and aloof front, but behind the scenes, the little girl has two faces. I so wish to have a deep exchange with you. As a subordinate, I want to know the manager's length. And I also want the manager to know my depth. My eyes have been violated. Oh my god, still sending this kind of picture. If I have to go blind, I'll drag my friends down with me. I stared at the shameless words on my phone. That profile picture was indeed mine, but I never said anything like that. The surrounding whispers, mocking laughter, and pointing fingers felt like stripping me naked in broad daylight. Shameless, Li Dahua, with Zhong Yao's arm hooked in hers, looked at me with disgust in her eyes. Colleagues, today I have the courage to do all this because I want everyone to know that the stereotype of workplace harassment should be broken. I hope I will be the last victim of such misconduct. Looking at Zhong Yao's righteous expression, I knew that no matter what I said now, there would only be one outcome, falling into the trap of self-justification. I called the police. Screenshots can't serve as actual evidence. But Li Dahua's slap was witnessed by everyone and can't be denied. After reporting to the police, the officers took us all back to the station to understand the situation. I demanded compensation from Li Dahua, and Zhong Yao must clarify the truth at the company and issue a public apology to me. I've never seen someone so shameless. Are mistresses this brazen nowadays? Is there no justice or law left? Li Dahua even lashed out at me with hands on hips and glaring eyes before leaving. Li Dahua is Zhong Yao's wife who has shared his hardships, and it's understandable that her language is crude since she never received much education. But what infuriated me even more was Zhong Yao's passive-aggressive apology in the company group chat. I am willing to apologize to Miss Xu. I should not have rashly publicized this matter without sufficient evidence, causing certain troubles for the company and colleagues. Here, I sincerely apologize to everyone, however. I am also glad that I lacked sufficient evidence, because it means I stayed true to my principles. In the future, I will hold myself to even higher standards. I also hope everyone can learn from my example. When facing workplace issues, don't act rashly just because of temporary righteousness. Finally, I wish everyone a smooth and prosperous new year ahead, with fewer encounters with petty people. Later, he privately sent another message in the group chat. Sorry, I've let our team down. There's no year-end bonus, but tonight I'll personally cover the cost for our team building, and also welcome the new colleague. Zhong Yao shamelessly tagged everyone, including me in the group. This was no apology. It was clearly an attempt to nail me to the pillar of shame. A sycophantic colleague commented. He who gathers firewood for the people should not be left to freeze in the snowstorm, followed by several replies below. Boss, you've worked hard. It's the hearts of people that are filthy. There are also a few hugging and comforting emojis. I was the only one who didn't reply, and Zhong Yao specifically at me. Xunyan, I'm willing to leave the past in the old year. I heard you're resigning, and in the new year, I hope you'll meet like-minded people at your new company and achieve great success. Of course, as your direct supervisor, as long as you sincerely correct your ways, my door will always be open to you. I sat at my workstation and looked around. Everyone kept their distance as if I were something filthy. I typed a few lines in reply. Even if the gate is opened, it still needs to be closed again to avoid causing more trouble for the police. You said you had no money for the compensation you were judged to pay, and you still haven't given it to me. Now that you have money to treat me to a meal, does that mean you also have money to pay me the compensation? A transfer will do. Xunyan. Aren't you going too far? A colleague next to me looked at my reply indignantly. Working with someone like you is simply a disgrace. Exit and turn left to HR. You can resign, I said coldly, glancing at her. Herds are for sheep and cattle, beasts of prey walk alone. Those who refuse to believe you, no matter how much you say, it's all just nonsense. Forget it. She's resigning anyway. Why waste words on her? Shameless. Those who can't see the truth, lack independent judgment, and blindly follow the crowd just to cling to power are the real shameless ones. I closed my laptop. For the entire past year, my own performance has been supporting the entire team. I hope you all can still manage to put food on the table in the future. Although I usually don't mingle much with the group, my performance has always been at the forefront. I've often been generous, sharing client resources freely. Who would have thought these people would bite the hand that feeds them? I turned off my computer. See you at the dinner tonight. The timestamps on the fake screenshots Zhong Yao fabricated all predated the so-called false accusations. I couldn't figure out why he went to such lengths to frame me. It wasn't until the dinner that night that I met the new colleague. When I arrived in the evening, they had already started, clearly with no intention of waiting for me. The waiter opened the private room door to serve dishes, and through the crack, I caught a glimpse of that new colleague, my old classmate, Lu Huanhuan. Lu Huanhuan was quite beautiful. Back in university, she was the little belle of our department. Could it be a coincidence? Unless I've been hit in the head by a door, I didn't go in right away. Leaning by the door to listen to the lively conversation inside, with a trademark gentle smile, a harmless beauty, and a somewhat feigned warmth, most people meeting Lu Huanhuan for the first time naturally take a liking to her. Right when I joined, Manager Zhong mentioned how harmonious our team atmosphere is. I hope everyone can accept me and let me join this big family. Huanhuan is really beautiful. Indeed, a new year brings new vibes. Out with the old, in with the new. Honestly, working with that kind of person is just bad luck. Lu Huanhuan looked puzzled but quickly zeroed in on the key point. What kind of person? It's that Shunyan who hasn't arrived yet, shamelessly seducing our boss. Exactly. And to think she graduated from *** university. Disgraceful behavior. I also went to * university. Lu Huanhuan covered her mouth in shock. I had a college classmate named Shunyan too. Oh my, what a coincidence. Is it her? Someone who loved gossip had already pulled out photos taken during company meetings. Lu Huanhuan nodded with wide eyes full of astonishment. The world is so small. I just never expected that even after graduation and starting work, Shunyan is still like this. Having said that, Lu Huanhuan seemed to regret her deliberate slip of the tongue and covered her mouth. But the group had already perked up their gossipy ears, urging her to elaborate. It's not good, is it? It makes me seem like I'm gossiping behind someone's back. Lu Huanhuan pretended to hesitate, but in reality, she was just stringing everyone along. Faced with the group's persistent urging, she turned her gaze to Zhong Yao. I'll follow Brother Yao's lead, after all. Brother Yao is like the head of our family tilde. 1 second your manager Zhong, the next your brother Yao. If anyone says there's nothing between you two, only a fool would believe it. Clearly, none of the people in this room brought their brains when they left the house. They just want to hear my gossip. Since everyone is curious, Huanhuan might as well share. It's not adding fuel to the fire, just stating the facts. Surely that doesn't count as talking behind someone's back. Zhong Yao said with a hypocritical air of righteousness, when I state the facts, it's considered tattling, but when it's Lu Huanhuan, it doesn't even count as gossip. What a double-standard hypocrite. Actually, there's nothing much else. Shunyan's family didn't seem to be well off. And everyone knew that during her student days, with an incomplete development of values, it's normal to have some vanity. But Shunyan was afraid we'd look down on her, so she found someone to support her. Lu Huanhuan's face turned slightly red, as if speaking these words was tarnishing her pure soul. I took out my phone and recorded Lu Huanhuan slandering me. She was overthinking it. We're all friends. How could we possibly look down on her? Later, someone reported the incident. And Shunyan left without even finishing university, so that means she probably hasn't received her degree certificate yet. Right, wait, I remember our company has education requirements, doesn't it? Shocking news kept coming one after another, leaving the gossipers so full they were practically burping. First there was Zhong Yao, now there's Lu Huanhuan. This is truly disgusting to the extreme. Absolutely revolting. With a loud bang, I kicked open the private room door, amidst a sea of shocked gazes. I slowly walked into the room. Immediately, there were complaints. Someone who's about to resign still has the nerve to come freeload a meal. Who said I'm resigning, in the new year? I plan to roll up my sleeves and work hard. I stared at Lu Huanhuan and curled my lips into a smile. Lu Huanhuan, long time no see. During university, Lu Huanhuan spread rumors about me out of jealousy because I was the student council president and received outstanding student scholarships every year. Before I even had a chance to respond to her, I received an acceptance letter from a prestigious foreign university for further studies. Who would have thought that after all these years, she would walk right into my hands? Resign? Not a chance. Neither Zhong Yao, Lu Huanhuan, nor anyone else in this room knows. The company is essentially my family's. That dinner gathering ended unhappily because of my forceful participation. The next day, I went to work as usual. As soon as I entered, the colleagues who had been gathered together chatting enthusiastically immediately dispersed. Then, everyone's phones repeatedly chimed with notifications at the same time. No need to ask. They must have created a new group chat, playing the game of forming cliques to isolate others. Lu Huanhuan really hasn't changed a bit from school to the workplace. Back in school, I couldn't be bothered to deal with her. So I never exposed her facade. You mentioned this brand. I have a membership there. Next time you go, just give them my phone number for a discount. Lu Huanhuan, afraid I wouldn't notice her tricks, made a point of acting all chummy with the colleague at the workstation next to mine. She fluttered over to my other side like a butterfly, turning her back to me as she leaned in to chat animatedly with another colleague, occasionally letting out piercing laughter. Back in college, she was the same way. Despite sharing a dorm room, she would invite everyone in the entire dorm to eat or attend classes together. Everyone except me, even for shopping trips or dinners, she would privately coordinate with others, deliberately leaving me out. Over time, they became as close as sisters. While I was the one who didn't fit in, it's not that I couldn't form cliques, I simply disdained them. Now, coming to my turf and still trying to stir up trouble. Bullying people right at their doorstep. There's no such logic. I've got the Junphone Company project on my hands, and I can't handle it alone. Anyone who wants to join can contact me anytime. I leaned back in my workstation, scanning the room. As expected, not a single person responded to me. The air was dead silent. Today is my first official day joining our big family here. I'll treat everyone to dinner tonight. Lu Huanhuan waved her phone. I'll post the time and location in the group chat. Tilda. Amidst a chorus of flattery, Lu Huanhuan seemed to glance at my face unintentionally, her expression so proud, as if to say, look, after all these years, you still can't outplay me. All I gave her in return was a cold sneer. I looked at my muted phone screen, which kept lighting up. 1, 2, 3, messages flooding in. Lu Huanhuan, make no mistake, this is the workplace. The people here aren't your classmates with no conflicts of interest, but rather fellow workers struggling to make a living. You'll soon realize that spreading gossip or offering small favors no longer works. I've just added all the colleagues who privately messaged me into a group chat. New year, charge forward for money. I sent the message, dinner tonight to discuss task assignments. My dinner reservation was an hour earlier than Lu Huanhuan's, and the location was right next to the private room she had booked. How did you manage to get in touch with Junphone? The colleague asked curiously. I heard their CEO is notoriously difficult to work with. I took out my phone and tapped on a profile picture. It was the CEO of Junphone. He was my senior during my study abroad, quite approachable. Actually, I normally wouldn't flaunt such connections, but these were special circumstances, studying abroad. But Lu Huanhuan said you. My colleague stopped mid-sentence, realizing they'd spoken out of turn, and looked at me with concern. From now on, let's get to know each other better and make money together. I raised my glass, and everyone immediately clinked theirs with mine. Colleagues who were sneering at me just yesterday were now drinking and laughing with me today. After all, none of us are here to form charity groups. We're all just trying to make a living. After the meal, I signaled for silence. I know there have been some misunderstandings about me. I invited everyone here today because there's one more show for you to see. I placed a miniature surveillance device in Lu Huanhuan's private room in advance. I know this tactic is a bit underhanded, but when dealing with scum like her, you have to see her true colors when she's off guard. What? You're asking how the restaurant could allow it, since my family already owns companies. Having a few extra restaurants, clubs, or hospitals is pretty normal, right? Of course, these aren't mine, they belong to my older brothers. I have 3 older brothers, and each of them is highly ambitious. I'm their only daughter, and I was even kidnapped as a child, which terrified my parents. Since then, they've never allowed me to appear in public and even changed my surname to my mother's. My parents practically wanted to keep me hidden in a shell. Their overprotectiveness also made me develop a stubborn streak, so I never wanted to go home and talk about any grievances I faced outside, afraid they'd start being paranoid and restrict my freedom again. After completing my studies abroad, I insisted on returning home, and my father's compromise was that I could only work in the family company. Lu Huanhuan wanted to save face by booking a high-end restaurant, and coincidentally chose the new club my third brother had just opened. At the appointed time, Lu Huanhuan strode into the private room with confident little steps, only to be surprised that apart from Zhong Yao, no one else was there. Of course not, because they were all crowded together. Watching the screen of the computer in front of me, it's already time. Why hasn't anyone arrived yet? Lu Huanhuan frowned and glanced at her phone. The colleagues' phones dinged simultaneously, and one of them pressed the speakerphone button, revealing Lu Huanhuan's sweet, coquettish voice. Darlings Tilda, where are you all? I've been waiting for ages Tilda. Before her sugary words had even faded, the Lu Huanhuan on the other end of the video call wore an entirely different expression, one of impatience, as she clicked her tongue. Are these people insane? I booked such a nice place, and they're not rushing over like eager puppies. What the hell are they dawdling for? Every single word of this came through loud and clear, reaching each of our ears unmistakably. Before the shock of that statement could fully sink in, an even more explosive line followed. "This bomb personally detonated by our manager Jong. What's the rush? Those country bumpkins are probably still checking bus and subway routes to get here. You think their measly savings can afford this place?" Jong Yao said with disdain, then switched to a wicked grin as he looked at Lu Huanhuan. "Besides, isn't it better if they're late? It's been ages since we last met. I've missed you so much." Amidst a chorus of gasps, Jong Yao's hand shamelessly landed on Lu Huanhuan's plump buttocks. Giving them a firm squeeze, Jong Yao had indeed cheated. The affair partner is Lu Huanhuan. Lu Huanhuan let Jong Yao's hand linger and rub against her back a few times, then pouted her lips. "So annoying. That Xunyan is like a lingering ghost. Back in school, she kept stealing my spotlight from time to time. And now at work, I have to see her ugly face every day. Last time, I went through so much trouble thinking she'd quit, but who knew she'd be so shameless? Now I have to go out of my way every day to rally others against her. With her under my control, do you really think she can make waves? I'll just assign her more thankless tasks, and you keep cozying up to those brainless monkeys. I refuse to believe she'll last if we make her life miserable every single day." Jong Yao wore a smug, confident expression. "When the time comes, all those half-finished projects of hers will fall right into our hands. Oh, by the way, today at the company, she mentioned needing more hands for a project and even tried to get people to join her," Lu Huanhuan said, laughing as she spoke. "Guess what? No one even bothered to respond to her. Need you ask? I'm keeping a close eye on it. Just wait and see how I deal with anyone who dares to openly beg for scraps." Jong Yao, under Lu Huanhuan's gaze, was particularly smug, his expression turning somewhat gloomy as he continued. "Just because she's got a few projects in hand, she acts all high and mighty every day. Even a manager like me isn't good enough for her. By the way, the annual meeting is in a couple of days. How are your preparations coming along?" Lu Huanhuan smiled sweetly, yet it was like a cold snake flicking its tongue. "Don't worry, I've fabricated the evidence flawlessly. Don't forget, we were college classmates. I knew her before anyone else in the company, so my words will naturally carry more weight. This time, I'm going to turn her into a living public bus. With that kind of reputation hanging over her, you just need to push a little harder and bring up that incident from last time again. Then, any executive who wants to speak up for her will have to think twice about their own reputation. I'll make sure she can't survive in this company any longer. Get out of my way immediately. And I'll send these things to more colleagues. No matter which company she goes to in the future, I'll persuade others to give her a welcome gift. She likes to call the police, doesn't she? It won't ever trace back to me, Tilda." Such a vicious scheme actually earned Jong Yao's approving applause. "Truly worthy of being my woman. Let them fight like dogs later. This little brat," I checked her background, a blank slate with no backing at all, probably some small-town overachiever from who knows where. "She's only been here for 2 years and doesn't understand the slightest bit of social etiquette, yet a mere ordinary employee outperforms me. A manager, she must have bubbles in her brain." Jong Yao's resentful words came one after another, with not a trace left of the professional facade he wore at the company. "Just like a monkey in clothes," he said, puckering his lips at Lu Huanhuan. "Huanhuan baby Tilda, I'm working so hard. Why don't you give your Yaoga a kiss, Tilda?" Lu Huanhuan laughed and scolded as she pushed him away. Jong Yao said with a cheeky grin, "Then we'll wait till tonight. I can't wait to hear you call me Yaoga in bed and say you want me, Tilda. Aren't you afraid your tigress at home will find out?" Lu Huanhuan's fingers lightly traced Jong Yao's face. "Her, a tigress? Just a country bumpkin. Just because she supported me with some money when she was young, she thinks she's my benefactor. Calling her a baboon would be more accurate. She believes whatever I say, just like the idiots at the company. Pure fools." Jong Yao swallowed hard as he eyed Lu Huanhuan's curvaceous figure. "Why wait for those fools? Let's make the most of our time. Every moment counts. I already ordered the food." Lu Huanhuan glanced at her unresponsive phone again, her eyes full of resentment. "Take it to go. After I finish this meal with you, we'll have another one together. And we'll take a bottle of good red wine too. It's all on the company's tab anyway. On the screen, two creatures seemingly devoid of brain development played out a scene that was physically revolting to watch. These two scumbags, I'm going to chop them up. A colleague, who had long been fed up with their insults and couldn't stand it anymore, was about to charge forward as the embodiment of righteous light, determined to knock them down to the ground. I calmly reached out to stop him. No rush. The climax of the show hasn't arrived yet. In the company, Lu Huanhuan still wore that same superficially kind expression, unaware that everyone had already seen through her ugly, true nature. Let's go. Grab some coffee together. Lu Huanhuan affectionately linked arms with her colleague. The colleague recoiled as if shocked, forcing a chuckle. No need, just looking at you is enough to wake me up. Thinking it was a compliment, Lu Huanhuan beamed, playfully punching their shoulder with a tiny fist. I know we're close, but you don't have to praise me all the time. I'll get shy. Then she even dared to provoke me. Besides, being this close might make some outsiders jealous. Who knows if they try to sabotage us behind our backs. After all, even someone as upright as manager Zhong got backstabbed. The colleague covered her mouth and quickly ran away. One step later and she would have vomited on the spot. Lu Huanhuan went to tease another colleague. Did you buy the one you liked last time? Do you want me to tell the sales associate to reserve it for you in advance? You know, since I shop there often and am a big client, they can grant me this little privilege. The colleague quickly pushed her wheeled chair back 2 meters, frowning as she said, Lu Huanhuan, don't even bring it up. I went to use your membership number, and that sales associate nearly rolled her eyes out of her head. She said, a reseller asking for discounts. It's not embarrassing to do reselling on the side, but at least be upfront about it. You made me look like a fool for nothing. Lu Huanhuan, can you just be honest from now on and stop being so vain? That sales associate. Lu Huanhuan nearly cursed out loud after being interrupted, then gritted her teeth and said, what reselling? They must have misunderstood because I shop there so much. Besides, you got the discount. How can you turn around and blame me? I didn't take advantage of you. That day I ran into Xunyan, and Xunyan has a black card with super high points. She just used the points to help me get it. Stop saying I took advantage of you. Even if I had used your card, the points would still go to your account. The sales associate even said, you lend your card to 800 people, always calling to ask if they have enough points for samples. My colleague rolled her eyes dramatically, perfectly mimicking the sales associate's disdainful pout. Xunyan, a black card. Lu Huanhuan reacted as if she just heard the earth was flat. She sneered, no matter what, every penny of mine is clean. Unlike some people who sell themselves out for petty benefits. I tilted my chin up at her. Lu Huanhuan, do you always air your dirty laundry in public like this? Is the company bathroom too small for you? Lu Huanhuan frowned, puzzling over my words for a long time. Just before the end of the workday, she slammed her desk and snapped, oh, I get it, Xunyan, you're insulting me. Just you wait, sooner or later, I'll make sure everyone sees your true colors. I look at the calendar, counting the days, hoping the annual party will come soon. I can't wait any longer. The long-awaited annual party has finally arrived. The annual party is always lively, and even the CEO, who rarely makes appearances, is here today. I look at my eldest brother, with his small gold-rimmed glasses on, exuding an air of an unattainable flower that loves no one. It's hard to imagine the childish bickering he gets into with my second brother when they lose games at home. Clothes really do make the man. I search for today's main character. As usual, Lu Huanhuan is determined to steal the spotlight on such occasions. Dressed in a white gown like an untainted lotus, strikingly eye-catching, she looked at my stern-faced elder brother, and for a fleeting moment, her eyes actually wavered. That wavering of hers suddenly made me feel a bit puzzled. Someone like Lu Huanhuan, though always resorting to underhanded methods, has always considered herself above the common folk. How could she willingly roll around with Zhong Yao, a middle-aged man in his 40s, just to mess with me? That's really going all out. Looking at Zhong Yao again, he was still dressed in that same shabby grey suit, sitting beside his wife Li Dahua. The two occasionally leaned in to chat, putting on a show of mutual devotion and domestic harmony. Zhong Yao was clearly determined to maintain his devoted husband persona to the end. Zhong Yao and Lu Huanhuan were seated several spots apart. Halfway through the event, neither had acknowledged the other, acting as if they were complete strangers. Good heavens. People who share a bed at night are still putting on that ridiculous act of avoiding suspicion during the day, just like those in the entertainment industry, as if they don't realize. That fish has long been gutted. Finally, it's time for the prize draw. The electronic screen switched back and forth among the crowd and, as expected, finally landed on my face. Congratulations, Xunyan. Please come on stage to speak and draw the prize, amid the heavy expectations of my teammates. I stepped onto the stage and took the microphone. First of all, I'm very grateful to the company for giving me this opportunity. I began by nodding in gratitude toward the boss's direction like a sycophant. Back then, when Zhong Yao framed me, I practically had to cling to my brother's leg and throw a tantrum to get him to agree not to report it to our parents, leaving it for me to handle myself. Lu Huanhuan saw that I actually managed to exchange a glance with the CEO for a second and curled her lips in disdain, her face so sour it could squeeze out lemon juice. Secondly, I'd like to thank my direct supervisor, Manager Zhong Yao. I gestured in Zhong Yao's direction. Almost everyone in the company knew about the issues between Zhong Yao and me, so when I said this, no one could figure out what I meant by it. The spotlight also very generously shone a beam of light on Zhong Yao, whose expression first showed great astonishment, but as his face appeared on the big screen, he thought, with the CEO present, what a rare opportunity this was to be in the spotlight. Zhong Yao immediately straightened his back and nodded solemnly with a serious expression, while his wife, Li Dahua, clung tightly to his arm with a defensive look, as if I were some 1,000-year-old demon capable of draining her man's vitality from such a distance. Here, I'd like to sincerely say to Manager Zhong, after the founding of the nation, policies changed. For so many years, you couldn't become a spirit. Pretending to be human must have been exhausting. I delivered these words with great passion. Amidst the deathly silence of the scene, a burst of enthusiastic applause, cheers, and shouts erupted from the corner. At this moment, I'm grateful to my fair-weather colleagues. Someone tried to step forward to stop me, but my elder brother, who was massaging his forehead in exasperation, signaled them to stand down, giving me the stage to perform. Even the CEO tacitly allowed it. I had to put on an even more vigorous show, so, gripping the microphone tightly, I delivered my lines with dramatic flair. Since the day I joined the company, Manager Zhong has subjected me to prolonged workplace harassment. As a vulnerable young woman, all I wanted was to keep my job and have a stable income. Time and again, I gently refused him. But who would have thought Manager Zhong, furious at being rejected, would turn the tables and falsely accuse me? He used public opinion to pressure me, leaving me with no way out. I even considered ending my life. But, if I don't speak up today, who's to say there won't be more victims in the future? So if there must be a sacrifice on this path, then let that person be me. Isn't it just about adding value? Who can't do that? The colleague working with me inserted the USB drive I had prepared in advance into the back end. One after another, disgraceful chat records appeared, but this time I was the victim. The last image read, "I'm giving you one last chance. If you don't show up by 9:30 tonight, haven't you had enough of the last lesson, Zhong Yao?" What the hell is this? Li Dahua looked utterly shocked and punched Zhong Yao, nearly knocking the wind out of him. Framed, this is a setup. Zhong Yao jumped up as if his pants were on fire. He shouted desperately, his voice turning hoarse, "Xunyan holds a grudge against me. She deliberately fabricated all this. What you don't know is that Xunyan has been trouble since her student days. Luring men for personal gain is her usual trick. Lu Huanhuan in our department was her college classmate. She can testify." Lu Huanhuan, quick, step up. Lu Huanhuan clearly didn't expect me to strike first either. And she had no way of knowing whether those records were real or fake, but she still stood up, looking timid with red-rimmed eyes. I wasn't going to say anything, but since Manager Zhong, I rolled my eyes. Even now she had to pull that act. But at this moment, Zhong Yao was more anxious than I was. He practically shouted himself hoarse. "Enough nonsense. Just show the evidence. This time, Lu Huanhuan genuinely flinched in fright. I do have some things here. Her hands trembled as she connected the phone, revealing various angles of covertly taken photos of me. The images were nothing more than shots of me getting in and out of luxury cars, entering and exiting clubs, hotels, and high-end boutiques. Doesn't this just prove that Xunyan has financial means? It doesn't indicate anything else, right? A colleague chimed in from below. Xunyan and I were college classmates. From what I know, her family background wasn't affluent. Even with her post-graduation income, it would be hard to sustain such a lavish lifestyle. And look, each of these different luxury cars has a different man inside. I can only blame my many elder brothers, each with a fleet of drivers at their disposal. That's just your speculation. And these photos of yours are clearly taken without consent, spying on classmates' private lives since college, and even taking pictures. My God, what on earth is this woman trying to do? Who knows what she's up to? But if I had someone like that around me, I'd have to sleep with one eye open at night. Malicious intentions, no doubt, acting all innocent like a white lotus every day. Lu Huanhuan never expected that instead of everyone turning against her, they all directed their accusations at her, playing with fire. But the flames aren't burning fiercely enough yet. I have evidence, I have chat screenshots, I even have photos. Lu Huanhuan frantically tried to display her fabricated proofs, but no matter how she fiddled with her phone, it wouldn't connect to the big screen anymore. Trying to pin the shit on me once wasn't enough. You want to try again? Keep dreaming. Screenshots and photos can both be faked. What kind of evidence is that? I said unhurriedly. Right, you admitted it yourself. Screenshots and photos can all be faked. Zhong Yao's eyes gleamed with triumph, as if he had seized my weakness. All of these are fabrications, just to get back at me, to frame me. Yes, I admit these are indeed fake. My voice carried through the microphone to every corner of the room, and the cost of faking them is negligible. Yet, despite being so obviously fake, some people still believe them. Misinformation spreads like wildfire. And how many have been condemned to a figurative death by the court of public opinion? Xunyan, if you want to show off, pick a better occasion. This is the annual gala. We don't have time for your moral lectures. Lu Huanhuan didn't even bother to maintain her usual gentle tone, her voice sharp and piercing. You're right, I nodded, then smiled at the crowd. In that case, why don't I show you all something truly exciting? When the big screen showed Zhong Yao and Lu Huanhuan hugging and kissing their way into the hotel, the venue erupted with the loudest cheers in the history of the annual party. If you think one angle isn't enough. I smiled slightly and snapped my fingers. Multiple camera angles were broadcast simultaneously on the screen. This was footage we had risked the bitter cold to capture like paparazzi after that day's dinner gathering, all for this moment. To nail this pair of wolfish, beastly lovers with irrefutable evidence. The deafening roar came from Li Dahua. She first knocked Zhong Yao down with a headbutt, then charged at Lu Huanhuan like a wild beast. I'll beat you two shameless dogs to death. Li Dahua reached out to tussle with Lu Huanhuan, simultaneously messing up her carefully styled hair while stomping hard on Zhong Yao. Zhong Ergu, you ungrateful wretch, just a few days in the city and you think changing your name can alter your fate. Have you forgotten how you once knelt at my feet, clinging to my legs and begging me to earn money so you could study and make something of yourself? Don't you know you're my family's child groom? Back then you called me sister as if I were your own mother. Now it seems some vixen has stolen your soul. Let me kick some sense back into you. Zhong Yao was kicked so hard he couldn't catch his breath, reduced to curling up in a ball, covering his head and begging for mercy. Stop hitting me, stop. It was all Lu Huanhuan, that fox spirit, who seduced me. She's so slutty, she drugged me. The man in his 40s wailed like a baby. Sister, if you want to hit someone, go hit her. She was the one who seduced me. Lu Huanhuan had been trying to escape while Li Dahua was beating up the scumbag. But then Zhong Yao exposed her. Li Dahua grabbed Lu Huanhuan by the hair. Where do you think you're going? You slut, come with me to report to the authorities. You two are committing indecent acts. Let go of me. Lu Huanhuan struggled fiercely, her hair being yanked out in clumps. She viciously kicked off her high heels and pointed at Zhong lying on the ground. This trash. Only a country bumpkin like you would treat him like treasure. You think I'd fight with you over a man? Pa, your man was the one clinging to me. If it weren't for his pathetic resources and money, why would I bother with this disgusting thing? The security guards, having watched enough of the commotion, rushed over to pull Li Dahua and Zhong Yao apart. Lu Huanhuan broke free from Zhong Dahua and glared at me with venomous eyes. Bitch, she walked toward me step by step, her knuckles cracking as she clenched her fists. The security guards were still struggling with Li Dahua and his wife, unaware of what was happening to me. As Lu Huanhuan reached me and was about to swing her hand, my elder brother, who had just arrived, grabbed her and shoved her aside. Lu Huanhuan, those sneaky photos you took aren't clear. Let me show you a clear one. I swiped to a photo of me sitting cross-legged on the hood of my big brother's car, flashing a peace sign. The CEO's license plate number. Everyone in the company knows it. You, Lu Huanhuan looked back and forth between me and my big brother, then suddenly laughed scornfully, as if she'd won. Xunyan. So all these years, the rumors I've been spreading were actually true. You really are the other woman. I just never imagined you could climb to such heights. The other woman. Such heights. She treats me as my eldest brother's little lover. But really, what a coincidence that we've both found men from the same family. Lu Huanhuan laughed heartily. You don't know, do you? Our CEO has brothers. Same father, same status. The only difference is, I'm the official girlfriend, while you're just a shady little mistress. For a moment, my mind went blank. Both my eldest and second brothers are married, leaving only my third brother. Then I remembered the club Lu Huanhuan had booked that day, and couldn't help but shudder. No way. Could it be that my third brother's brain was kicked by a donkey and is temporarily blind? Is this the brother you're talking about? The elder brother took out his phone and pulled up a photo. I quickly leaned in to look, but I didn't recognize the person in the photo. Lu Huanhuan glanced over, her eyes filled with longing, then turned a cold gaze toward the elder brother. Exactly. If word gets out about you keeping a mistress, whether it reaches your high society wife or your esteemed father, you'll be in deep trouble. So, you're planning to extort money from me to buy my silence? The elder brother asked again. Lu Huanhuan smiled even more smugly. Pretty clever, aren't you? Has he already taken a lot of money from you under various excuses? Did he also take out many loans in your name? The eldest brother kept guessing correctly, and Lu Huanhuan's expression stiffened slightly, but she still clenched her teeth and said, that was all for business turnover. If it weren't for you three brothers ganging up on him, he would still be a wealthy young master. How could things be so hard for him? I just want to help him take back everything that rightfully belongs to him. Who on earth is this person? I was genuinely puzzled. There are only three brothers. Who exactly are you all ganging up on? You poor little thing from a humble background wouldn't understand a thing. Lu Huanhuan sneered with disdain. Mind your own business about matters of prominent families. He told you he's my father's illegitimate child, didn't he, and even showed you a photo of Dad holding him when he was little. The eldest brother shook his head helplessly. The old man has an illegitimate child. My hair stood on end. Does Mom know? Don't tell me you all knew. You wouldn't just hide it from Mom and me. Would you? Have you no shame? Even if the scumbag is my own father or brother, he still deserves to be cursed. Oh my, how shameless. A mistress keeps calling someone Mom with every word. Lu Huanhuan clicked her tongue repeatedly, then turned to glare at the eldest brother with resentment. What's wrong with being an illegitimate child? The law clearly states that children born out of wedlock have inheritance rights too. You're no better. You also have a mistress. Watch out, or your own son might be called an illegitimate child and bullied by the legitimate wife's children. Enough of your damn nonsense. I couldn't take it anymore and slapped Lu Huanhuan across the face. This is my eldest brother. Lu Huanhuan stared at me in shock. No way. Your surname is Shu. I took my mother's surname. Do I really need to explain this to you? At that moment, compared to insignificant Lu Huanhuan, I was more concerned about the illegitimate child issue and pressed my brother further. What the hell is going on? Could it be that my wife-spoiling father has actually been a scumbag all these years? My worldview is somewhat shattered. Do you remember when you were kidnapped as a child? My eldest brother sighed. That time. It wasn't someone else. It was Dad's driver who kidnapped you. The driver was caught and sent to prison back then. The illegitimate child she mentioned is actually the driver's son. When he was little, he lived in our house. Mom and Dad were kind and let him play with us, so he had many photos taken at our place. That photo he's been flaunting is indeed of Dad holding him when he was young, but after the incident, his mother took him away. These past 2 years must have been really tough for him to survive, and this isn't the first time. Your second brother dealt with a similar case just 6 months ago. But the guy managed to slip away back then. He specifically targets vain girls, telling them he's our father's illegitimate child who's just temporarily down on his luck. Not only does he spend their money, but he also convinces them to take out loans for him. Several girls have already been driven to. I was stunned by my eldest brother's words. Lu Huanhuan, however, seemed to have gone mad. No, impossible. You're the liar. All of you are liars. He's the youngest son of a tycoon. He wouldn't deceive me. He loves me. Putting everything else aside, if he truly loved you, would he let you submit to another man for the sake of an exchange of benefits? I looked at Lu Huanhuan, who was nearly hysterical, if I'm not mistaken. Joining my elder brother's company and submitting to Zhong Yao were all part of your own plan, weren't they? What happened between us was just an unexpected twist. You wanted to seize some leverage over my brother or the company, to help that so-called illegitimate child rise, didn't you? But he was a fake from the very beginning, just trying to swindle some money out of you. Lu Huanhuan's phone rang. She answered it and then flung it away in a rage. Get lost. Damn debt collectors. I'm going to be the future young madam of a wealthy family. You think you can break my legs? Dream on. Lu Huanhuan seemed caught between crying and laughing, whether genuinely losing her mind or just trying to escape. My brother had her restrained and sent to the police station. I took the opportunity to hand over the recording from that day's gathering to the police as well. Defamation and slander. She'll have a lot to answer for, later. I heard from colleagues that Zhong Yao was forcibly taken back to his rural hometown by Li Dahua, who claimed that the flashy city life wasn't suited for Zhong Yao and that it would be more secure for him to stay by her side, farming honestly for the rest of his life. Unwilling to accept a life of farming, Zhong Yao attempted to escape several times, only to be caught and brought back by Li Dahua. Eventually, she resorted to chaining him at home to serve her. Lu Huanhuan was highly uncooperative at the police station, refusing to confess and boasting about being a wealthy socialite. She warned others to be careful, claiming that once her boyfriend made a comeback, those who offended her would regret it deeply. A month later, the imposter was caught. According to his own confession, he had deceived at least 10 girls like Lu Huanhuan. I saw Lu Huanhuan once more after that. By then, she had lost a leg and was crawling along the street, ragged and covered in filth, still muttering incessantly, "I'm the young mistress, you're all homewreckers." As for me, I still ended up quitting the company, because as long as I stayed in this city, I would forever be trapped inside an eggshell. I went to the neighboring city and started a school. Watching those vibrant children, I knew there would be conflicts among them, and the rules of a small society would exist too, but the first rule of my school will never change. If you're not blind, don't get to know me through someone else's words. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, so feel free to share your opinions. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. We'll see you in the next video.